Hello, my name is Terje Arven. I'm a professor at University of Stavanger, Norway, and I would like to make some reflections about how to be a good PhD supervisor. This is a huge topic, and I'm going to just provide some reflections based on my experience from the last 25 years, being a supervisor for quite a number of PhD students. And lots of things can be said about this topic, but it's really my personal experience. I'm not trying in any way to be all-inclusive, covering topics linked to this issue. Of course, if you're going to be a PhD supervisor, you need to be an active researcher. You publish in international journals. If you don't do that, how can you then supervise PhD students, guide them how to write papers? Now, you can't do that. So the basis is that you're an active researcher, you are publishing in international journals. You can have some co-supervisors, it can be useful, and in some schools, universities, is also that you have to do that, but there can be no doubt that there is only one boss that takes responsibility to see to that the candidate is doing the job and is able to deliver at the defense day. Okay, we often read in the newspaper when the candidate has sort of defended his or her thesis that they have done something fantastic. They have produced something, they contributed to something, new and improved methods, increased profit, more robust and safer society, and so forth. But is it really like that in the reality? Is this kind of sort of a fantasy world that the newspaper sort of represent to the world? What is really the reality? Now, the PhD student is starting from a master level normally, and it should be a good master level. And the aim is to bring this person up to an international research level. I call it B here. And the research training, the PhD, is actually a journey trying to move from this basic level up to this international research level. That's a huge task, and not all are coming up to that level. That's not the normal situation, but they have a platform for moving in that direction. And the candidate often has this kind of idea that they would like to change or improve the world by this thesis. But then they fail, they get frustrated because this will not happen in most cases. They're not able to change the world by their new methods, the more robust and safer society contributions. It's not really like that. And to break free from this kind of thinking and get out of this frustration, the candidate needs to acknowledge that the most important is not the results and the product, but the journey and the process. We have to acknowledge that our contributions are really small, marginal. We're not changing the world very much. And when this is really the sort of line of thinking, we get some sort of, or the candidate gets some happiness of being able to write an elegant sentence or paragraph. The supervisor say, this is fantastic, nice sentence, is really pro. You have an abstract that's a very good flow. The logic is valid, the argumentation is strong. With that perspective, you get some sort of happiness all the time. And it's certainly needed to make this work fine. And this is really reflecting what the PhD training program is all about. it's not about making fantastic products, but learning the candidate to be a researcher. Okay, we start with on scratch, and we would like to have a candidate selected. How should we approach that? This is always an issue about sort of taking persons from the in-house, from the master programs that you are running, or sort of applying, getting applications from outside. It is tempting to try to focus on our own students, because we have then reduced the uncertainties a lot. We know how they are able to write and reduce the uncertainties. We see the potential for that this person is able to write a thesis, and it may be even extremely smart thing to do. If you see some talented master students, allow them, invite them to present, to write a paper during the master thesis with you, and then you will also see if this person really has a potential for being a PhD candidate. You can have a broad announcement if you don't have the good candidates from your own university or your own department, but you also have to be careful then and really scrutinize these candidates' ability to be able to write in English properly. I think that if you are experienced, you can, from the text that the students are sort of submitting, you can easily see if the coming 3-4 years will be sort of with a situation where you are going to rewrite every sentence that this person is writing to make it on the proper level. Okay, at the early stage of the sort of PhD program, it's sometimes required that you write a project description, and that even, well, it's even demand that this candidate, the student, is doing that. I say this doesn't make sense, and we should not demand the candidate to write a detailed project description. How on earth can he or she do that? He is not on the research level. He is on the master level. She is on the master level. You have to specify what this is all about. You write it, and if candidate is doing it, you must guide him or her a lot in that process and have dialogue with the person quite intensively. So we come to the main activities for the this PhD program, and these are courses, presentation and work at conferences, visits to other scientific environments, writing papers and the thesis, and defense of the thesis. And the black ones are the key ones, and the most important one is, of course, writing papers and the thesis.